couple of laps down based on the PB, but she ran off really well.
Fantastic to see.
So we're in the starter's hands. 3 heats to go, up to heat 6 in the men's 3,000. So another huge field here. We've got Max Saville-Bentley of Yarra Rangers, Merlin Gammon, Ross Thompson of Box Hill, Matt Vanur of Athletics Nunawading, Ned Buckle, we saw one of the Buckles go around earlier, I reckon they were Eureka or Bendigo area, Alistair McDonald of Western Athletics, Elias Stott, Geelong Guild, Luke Sin, Doncaster Athletics Club, the Sin family been busy tonight, Isaac Bibley of Box Hill, one of the Ellinghouse crew, Lincoln Belgrove, Glen Huntley, Long Newen, Glen Huntley, Charlie Close, Williamstown, Josh Hawkes, Wendouree Athletic Club, Eddie and Blumston Jones of Williamstown, David Gregg, Ivanhoe, David Aparasian of Melbourne University, Alexander Angus of Old Melburnians, and Sam Lindsay of Glen Huntley Athletic Club. Front of this group, 9:13 is our fastest seed time, so anywhere thereabouts, 9:15 would be superb. We'll let the field just work themselves out and we'll give you some updates as they come through. It's the Wendouree colours out in front, and that's Josh Hawkes at the moment, who'll set some tempo. No one really wants to set the tempo here. They're going quite comfortably through as they go through one lap in 76.
Yeah, so a nicely bunched pack there. Nick, no one really interested in maybe making a move or trying to make the race a little bit faster at this point, but I'm sure it'll ramp up as we get going. So now as they make their way past me, I'll be able to get a little bit of a better read here, but loving the headband at the front. Very retro here, I believe, from our Doncaster athlete. So a Geelong Guild athlete, and that is Luke Sin at the front. Isaac Billy here there in about third position, and these boys are going 4 wide. David Gregg of Ivanhoe, he's gone out in just about lane 3 to try and find his position, and sometimes that's just what you got to do. He's a bit of a bull, David Gregg. He'll push his way through, don't worry about that. So these boys, just going to get the noodles rolling, I reckon, Nick. I reckon it's going to pick up as the race goes on, and I can start to see it a little bit now, a little bit of an injection in pace. They're almost playing straights and bends here. Surge the straights and cruise the bends, so hopefully they can find a little bit of a rhythm as they roll past you, but these boys are looking quite comfortable. It looks like Luke Sin still at the front there on the inside.
You're right there, Mitch. It is Luke Sin on the inside there. Elias Stott, it is of Geelong Guild, who's not far back behind him. I reckon it might be Ned Buckle, also thereabouts. One of our Box Hill athletes is not far off it as well. I reckon it would have been Ross Thomas on the inside. But now the pace, as they just string out a little bit, the pace might have slightly increased. They'll go through you. They're not going to be around the 3:05 tempo they would have expected for 1K. They're going to be outside that, but the boys are going to have to pick up a little bit to get around that 9:13 mark. It'll be 3:04, 3:05, so... Yeah, 3:09. So 3:09 through 1K. So got a little bit of work to do for those leaders to get down to their personal best or seed times as predicted. As we said, we've got Luke Sim with the 9:13 seed time, Elias Stott 9:16 seed time. So it's a bit unsurprising that they're the boys at the front. Likewise, Merlin Gammon's thereabouts with a 9:15. But yeah, the tempo's just picked up a little bit, Mitch. And it's the Ivanhoe boy that's gone out 3 wide now as well. It's made a bit of a move, and that's David Gregg.
David Gregg, an absolute character. If you've ever had the pleasure of meeting him, David Gregg, so good to see him Oh, and he's taken a huge run, and some of these boys have stacked there. I'm unsure what's happened, whether they've tripped over each other. But David Gregg, he's not in any of that scuffle. He's right at the front of the race, so he's injected the pace, the headband on. He's looking real good. Look at the stride, the red shoes. He says, look at me, I got tickets. Hopefully he's got them to be able to cash in at the end, David Gregg. So running really strong, beautiful stride there as we start to see these boys now. I think there's the injection of pace you were looking for, Nick. I think it's starting to roll through. Isaac with Billy there, number 17, hick number Alexander Angus, and our Glen Huntley athlete there in Etienne Bomston Jones as well. So he's starting to move, or our Williamstown athlete, I should say. So these boys starting to break up, which usually means that someone's injecting the pace, and the one doing that, I think it's David Gregg. It's safe to say he's ready to get this ball rolling. 9:18 is his PB, so he's going to put his foot on the gas and see how fast the car can go. So right now the Rolls Royce is humming at the front.
Thanks,
and now
Mitch.
we're moving.
Thanks, Mitch. And it was a big stumble over here at the 200. We lost a couple down the back there, hit the deck pretty hard. One of them was the Williamstown athlete there. They hit the track very hard, but they've got back up and they're fighting on. I think it was Max Saville Bentley there of Yarra Rangers, and also 3296, which was Charlie Close of Williamstown, but they've bounced back up and they're back amongst it. They're only about 15 metres off the pack. But you're right, the man at the front, David Gregg, he's got this train going. So he wants to make sure the pace is on. David Gregg himself has a 9:18 personal best, so he's not far off one of the quickest men in this field, and there's a little group of 6 now just slightly pulling away. So that group at the front, Isaac Bibble's the one that's going to be the difference of whether this becomes 1 pack or 2, and the group of 6 now becomes a pack of 9 as they go past you, Mitch.
They're all starting to separate here, and I've definitely pumped up his tyres, but they deserve to be pumped, David Gregg. He's actually got this pace on us, and he's got these boys moving, so they're starting to get back on PB pace. Some of them may be still just a fraction outside of that, but most of them are still inside it. So we might be able to get Isaac Bibilli or Bibilli. He's going to bridge that gap, I reckon, in that front group of 5. So David Gregg, he's still going to hold on. On the outside there, though, he's going to get a little bit of competition. I think we're about to roll around the 2-kilometre mark, so we'll get a really good gauge of what they're going to be at with a kilometre to go. But he's definitely flown the flag, I would say, at a 6:15. So he's definitely brought it back to an honest pace. And it's going to be interesting, Nick. See, he has a really good set of wheels on them in this last kilometre, and this is hard racing. This is what they call very hard racing. So David Gregg, he's got to be credited for a lot of his work, but he's been past now. Our old Melburnian, or Melbourne Uni, no, old Melburnian, I should say, Alexander Angus now. He's going to move on the outside of Gregg. And the one who's come around to the front now and says, hey, I'll take a little bit of this work, is our unattached athlete. So a few boys here, as well as Etienne Bomston Jones there on the outside. So they're going to roll through now, 6:52. This front pack, not a lot of movement. A few in there around the front zone of that have started to change places. David Gregg only moved back to 3rd, and one that's just been stalking at the back there is the home track athlete, Isaac Bibilli. Let's see if he can keep the momentum going as that band starts to stretch now, and you've got to try and keep it intact. But they're rolling around a Unique, and I reckon the pace has picked up again. Yeah, the man that injected the speed was that Ned Buckle. We saw, I reckon it had to be a sibling of his go around a little bit earlier in the one of the earlier heats. And the Glen Huntley man that's now looking really good amongst that mix as well there is 1919, which is Long Nguyen. So Long Nguyen's the one I've been keeping an eye on when you went pretty excited there for the last 600 metres. And he moves into 3rd beautifully, sitting behind Alexander Angus. And they're still chasing the man out in front, Ned Buckle, wearing the Steigen singlet. So the Steigen singlet, synonymous with some distance running. They put on a grand meet just pre-Christmas down in Geelong. And it's at the man out in front wearing that singlet. Buckle, who leads. Alexander Angus still with him. And my man that I picked a little way out, Long Nguyen. So Long Nguyen and these 3 are really kicking it down. And at the bell, it's 8:04. So 8:04 gives them a chance to hit that time we talked about. 9:13, 9:10, can they get there? We're a little bit slow through the first K, but the last K has been superb. Yeah, and they've started to move, and as I said, I reckon that pace is injected, and this last K is going to be a sprint. And look at these boys coming past Unique. They are absolutely moving. Is that a Box Hill boy I see on the outside there, starting to make his presence felt? Is that Ross Thomas, I believe?
It is Ross Thomas, Mitch. You've called it well. It's Ross Thomas in the front.
And he's lining up, and he says, hey, I bought my ticket on this train, but I'm ready to bloody drive the thing, he says. I'm going to try and drive this one home. So the boys now, they're going to get on his back with 130 metres to go. Thomas on his home track, coming into the Stuart McSween straight. Can he pull this off? The boys moving around the outside. It's Alexander Angus. He's been thereabouts the whole time, but I think it is going to be Ross Thomas who's going to take this one out. Oh, Angus is going to go, but no, it's going to be Thomas. Fantastic running there. That's a 9:08 for him, and there's going to be a few boys rolling through for PBs. It started slow. Davey Grieg hits the line at 9:12.13, so I think that's a PB for him. 9:17 for the crew coming through now, and a fair few dipped under 9:20 here, so great racing for what was, you could say, a slow start, but they built into it, they worked into it, and a lot of boys are reaping the rewards here, so good to see the fitness on show here. And as we see the rest of the field roll their way through, we have Charlie Close here. He's going to hit the line with a fair bit of pace. And our Lilydale athlete here in Max Bentley is also going to with a bit of pace. So these boys still fighting it out and fighting strong. Elias Stott as well as Josh Hawkes. So congratulations to all these boys and all those that ran PBs. Good to make the pace on us from a slow start and keeps the momentum going of great racing here, Wolsey.
Yeah, I reckon, Mitch, we might have had PBs for our first 5 home there. So it's exactly what we wanted when Steve Deneen thought about this great idea. And the